Today we will see the statistical fundamentals. Statistics is defined as the science that deals with the collection and tabulation, analysis and interpretations and presentation of the quantitative data. The major function of statistical analysis are reducing the complexity of the situation. Uh, Statistical data present the information and precise and definite form. For example, statistical information is often presented in the form of the graphs, charts, and tables in the annual report of an industry. Making the comparisons and drawing conclusions, the statistical analysis helps in comparing the two or the more with regard to the variability of common and different characteristics. For examples, comparing the sales volume turnover of Hero Honda Bajaj Limited and automobile industries. Estimating and predicting the statistical analysis helps to estimating some unknown quantities and also studying the relationship between the variables of data. For example, give the sales data for the past years, one of the most estimated sales of the next year. Decision making. The statistical analysis helps to making the managerial decisions. The applications, the statistical techniques are applicable in all situations where the qualification is possible. The statistical analysis have become the independable to practically every field exists for example, engineering, commerce, industry and trade, economics, life of the science and earth science and physical science and medical science, etc. All the statistical techniques. Data versus the informations. Data can be identified, collections and observations. The informations can be identified, processed data. Types of data, the attribute data and variable data. The data obtained by counting the discrete data, while the data is obtained the actual measurement or continuous details. In other words, all the quantities of the characteristics are known as the attributes, and those characteristics can be quantified and measurable and are known as variable. Attributes, the number of the defective pieces of the found in the sample, of the percentage and of the accurate invoices weekly, number of accidents in the factory, number of lost parcels, number of complaints, mistakes per week, monthly, number of tools rejected, presented on the time and shipments, errors per thousands of lines of code, the percentage of absenteeisms, the variables, the dimensions of the part to be measured, the temperature during the heat treatment and the tensile strength of the steel bar and the time waiting of the service and hours per week correcting the documents and the time process travel expenses accounts the days from the receipt of the shipment and cost of the engineering changes per month, time between the systems crashes and cost of the rush shipment. The accuracy versus precision. The accuracy of the data sit for the measuring the instrument degree of uniformity and observations around the desired such that on average the target value is realized. The precision data, the measuring the minimum degree of variability of the observation. The accuracy is measured the bias of where the precision is measured the spread. Analogy, the objective on hit of the target builds the eye, then the marksman who precise and accurate. That each shot it's the near the bull eyes, the marksman is accurate. Then the difference between the successive shot is small, the marksman is precise. Hmm. Then the marksman who the accurate but not precise. If we the average all its shots, the average would be close bull eyes. However, the difference between the shots is very large. This shows the marksman who is precise but not accurate. His average shot is not near to the bullseye. However, the difference between the consecutive shots is very slow. Then the marksman who neither accurate nor precise, there is no telling where the next shot will be end up. He is of bull eye for the different shots between shot is very large. The collection data. The collection constitutes the starting point of any statistical investigation. The statistical data can be obtained from the three important sources: the primary and secondary and internal. The use of the either or small of this will depend upon the nature of the small scope of inquiry. Classification of data. The data classification is the arrangement of observation according to some divisions into the classes or groups. The process of the classification is similar to sorting letters of the post office. The tabular presentation data. The statistical is the cross of the classifications and the data is used to summarization and condensation and presentation of the meaningful fashion. The frequency distribution, the most of the famous tabulation is the single valuable characteristics is by the formation of frequency of distributions makes useful of in references to raw data should be clarified properly. The frequency distributions arrangement raw data ascending or descending order in order to magnitude such that the quality of the characteristics is subdivided into the classes. The number of the occurrence in each class is presented. Graphical presentation of the frequency distribution. A convenient way of presenting the sample frequency distribution is by means of graphs. It gives a general trend of the observation. It makes raw data readily reliable. Then the histogram and frequency polygon and cumulative frequency curve. The histogram is a bar chart of showing the distribution of variable quantities and characteristics. In the graphical display, the frequency is the numerical data. Frequency polygon, frequency curve. The frequency polygon, the midpoint of the classes and against the class frequency and then joining these points of the straight lines. Then the cumulative frequency of the curves of the gives the cumulative frequency of the can be called as ogive that the applied plotting upper class limit and against the less than the cumulative frequency of the frequencies is known as the less than the ogive. More than the ogive that applying the plotting more than the cumulative frequency against the lower class limit and ogive as will be see how the observations above below the specified value. The comparison of the frequency distribution in statistical work, the frequency compared to frequency distributions and chief summarize the fundamental characteristics of the frequency distributions. Measures of central tendency, measures of depressions and measures of skewness. The measures of central tendency, the introductions to the measures of central tendency is the numerical value of data. Value describes the central position of the data. The measure of the average value is known as the measure of the central tendency because they measure the central value of the data on the tends to cluster and three measures mean medium mode. The mean is also popularly as the arithmetic average is the sum of the observation is divided by the sum of the number of the observation. The median is defined as the value of the variate which is equal to the number of observation on either side of the variate values are arranged in order to magnitude. The median divides and distributes the distribution into the equal parts. If the data contains the odd number of the items, the median is the middle item in the array. If there is even the number of the items, it is the arithmetic mean of the two middle members. Mode is a commonly used of occurring the value. The mode is defined as though the value of the variable occurs the most frequently. An example, the value of the frequency, maximum frequency. In other words, the mode is the value of first and more number of the times the other. To find the mode, in the case of the discrete frequency distribution, the mode value of x corresponding to the maximum frequency, a series member of unimodal and bimodal, and it has two multimodals. The comparisons measures and central tendency of the various measures of the central tendency means is the most of the commonly used. The mean is used for distributions and symmetrical, and when the additional statistics are to be calculated based on the mean. The median, though the more easily calculatable and cannot be applied with easy to theoretical analysis, the median is the advantageous when there are the especially large and small values of distributions, and the mode is the most easily calculated as the least of significance. It is particularly misleading the distribution of the number of the highly insignificant. The measures of depression and the measures of central tendency to locate the central for the distributions, but they are do not tell how the individual observations are speed on either side of the center. The spread observation and the center is known as the dispersion. The three measures of dispersion is range, median, mean deviation, and standard deviation. Both of the measures of dispersion and measure central tendency or need to be described the collection of data. The range that defines the difference, the highest and lowest observation or is equal to xs minus x1, or is the range xs is the highest observation in series, the lowest observation in series. Although the simplest compute the range of the considered a rough estimate depressions. The two major problems of the range is of the range are the value of the range depends upon the observation of this in the simple. The range will tend to increase the sample size and increases the mean deviation. The mean deviation absolute difference between the value from the mean and median or mode. The standard deviation, the most important and the most powerful measure of depression is the standard deviation. The standard deviation is the measure of the spread of the data. Standard deviation is completed as the square root of mean square of deviation, varied the values from the mean. The comparison of the measures of the dispersion range of the provided knowledge and total spread of the data. It is used if the amount of the data is too small and scattered, or as a number of observation and increases accuracy ranges and decreases. Standard deviation is used when the number of the observations are more and when more precise is measured or desired. The standard deviations also helps to define the populations. The population is a simple. The word population is the inverse in statistics. Statistics is used to refer to any collections of individuals and of their attributes or of results of operations. The populations or universe can be defined unknown variations from which the known sample has been drawn. The type of the populations containing the definite number of the individuals and number is called the finite population. For example, the population of ages of 40 and students in the class ages of 40 students in the class. The population with infinite number of the members is known as the infinite population. The population pressures at various points in the atmosphere. In an example of this type of the population is concentrated the individual on the existence of the population, the collection of all the possible ways in which the event matrix is called the hypothetical population. For example, the population aids and takes the obtaining by using the infinite number of times is the hypothetical population. Samples and sampling. The part of the sample section selected the popular and sample and the process such the actions is called the sampling. Hmm, the sample is selected to the resemble of the represent the entire population of the sampling theory. When it is possible to measure the entire population, mm, when the expenses observed all the data is too costly and when require the inspection and destroy the products and when the test of the entire population may be too dangerous. The sample techniques, the commonly used the sampling the techniques approaches or sample random sampling. Every item in the population has to equal probability of being selected. The stratified sampling the population of all partitions into the groups strata and sample selections of each stratum. The systematic sampling and cluster sampling and judgment sampling. The statistics versus the parameter. The statistics is a numerical measurement of taken the sample and that may be used to make the difference about the populations. When average deviations and other measures are computed from the samples are known as the statistics. The parameter is true population values often I know the estimated and by a static parameter is often unknown. It is difficult to expensive to measure the directly easily the parameter and the statics. The statics and parameter the numerical data measurement is taken for the sample. This refers to population values measured directly, not measured directly. Normal cows, the species normal cow is an important for the normal cow is known as a Gaussian and probability cow. The normal cow is a symmetrical and unimodal bell-shaped distribution. Why the normal distribution? Much of the variations in the industries are followed for the normal frequency of the distribution. Such distributions occurs when there is a concentration and observation about the average and it is equally likely to be observation will occur above and below the average. Two, there are the distributions such as exponential, variable, and Poisson and rectangular depicts the characteristics of the industrial products and the normal distribution and predominantly used for the most industrial application because the normal distribution describes the various of qualities and characteristics in the industries more correctly than the distributions. For the same reason, the normal distribution and normal curve used for the basis of the many quality and control techniques. area of the normal distribution curve. The grateful usefulness of the normal curves lies of the relationship of the obtained from the knowledge of area under the curve lying between the certain limits and the relationship between the standard deviations and the normal curve. The relationship among the means of standard deviations and the normal curve. The different means of the value is identical and the standard deviation it can be seen only the change in locations. The normal curves of the same means but different standard deviations can be seen and the larger standard deviations and flatter curve, the smaller standard deviations or the more peaked curve. Control source and variables and process capability. Before describing the control source, appropriate to have the knowledge of the process of variations of one axioms and truisms of the manufacturing of a number of two objects or ever made exactly alike. When the variations are very small, it may be appear identical. Precision instruments will show the difference. Four sources of variations, therefore the factors of contributes to these variations, they are process, the material and operations miscellaneous factors. The sources of the miscellaneous variations include the environmental factors such as heat, light and radiation and humidity. Types of variation, assignable cause of the variation, chance cause of the variation, it process stable or in control when the extents of process variability, the assignable cost variation or larger in magnitude can be easily traced and detected in the difference among the machines, the difference among the materials, difference among the process and each of these factors over time and the differences of the relationship into one another. The prime objectives of the control chart is directing the assignable causes of division by analyzing the data. Once the assignable causes of the variation is identified and eliminated through the remedial actions, the process becomes the statistical quality control. The actions of the one part of the both management and workers will reduce the occurrence and of such cases of significantly the chances of variations. The chance cases of variations would be the variable in many processes. They are difficult to trace and control under the conditions of productions. All occur at the random. The random variations cannot be avoided. They are caused by the factors such as the human activity of from the operating cycles to the next. The minor variations of the raw material, the fluctuation in working conditions, and the lack of adequate supervision skills. The process operating under the established systems of common causes is said to be under statistical control. The management alone is responsible for common causes. Distinction between the process of assignable causes when only the chance of the cause and are present in the process considered to the stable and statistical quality control or in control. When assignable causes of variations are also present in then the variations will be exercised and the process is classified and unstable and the out of the statistical control and out of control. Therefore, the objectives of control chart persist the chances of causes of variations by directing and eliminating the assignable causes. If only the common causes of variations are present, output from the process forms a distributions that is stable for the overtime, therefore the process is predictable. Our contrary, if the special causes of variations are present, the process of the output is stable over time. Therefore, the process is unpredictable. This major objective of statistical control is to be quali- quickly defined occurrence of assignable causes and process shifts the investigations of the process of corrective actions may be taken before many non-conforming units of manufactured. The control charts online process monitoring techniques widely used for this purpose. Why do the management achieve the stable process? The stable process exhibits only the chance of cause of variation. The advantages of achieving the stable processes or the management knows the process capability and can be predict the performance cost of the quality and levels the product. Productivity will be minimum and the cost is minimized. The management will be able to measure the effects of the changes in the systems with the greater speedy reliability, and if the management the specification data backup decisions. Control chart, what is it? The control chart of the graph is displays the data over time of the variations of this data. If the tool of distinguish between the chance of the assignable cost of the variations in the process, the control chart is used to check whether the process is controlled statistically or not. Control charts make the possible diagnosis and corrections on many production troubles. Right, with the help of the control charts, one can find out the natural capability of the production process. The control chart is used to evaluate the process of stability when adjust the process. Types of control charts for the variable and the control charts for the attributes. Control charts variables record the measurement quality characteristics of interest. The control charts of attributes is record the determination of whether the part is defective and how many defects are there in the sample. Analysis of pattern in control. The main objective of using the control charts is to determine when the process of the out control on so that the necessary action may be taken. The criteria other than the plotted point of falling the outside the control limits also used to determine whether the process is out of control. Plot the patterns of often indicate the whether the process is in control or not. Analyzing the plot of the patterns is more difficult to plotting the control charts and the control charts applications in the service sector. The control charts is first developed based in the manufacturing organization. They are easily applied to the service organization in the hospital. Lab test accuracy in instance claim accuracy, on time delivery of meals and medications and medicines and bank checking the process accuracy, insurance claim processing and response timing, billing accuracy, post office sorting accuracy, time delivery and percentage of express mail deliver on time, ambulance response time, the police department, the incidents of crime in the present and number of traffic situation and hotel, the proportion of rooms satisfactory clean and checkout time, and number of complaints received, the transportation, the proportion of a freight cost and correctly routed rupees, amount of the damage per claim, the auto service, the percentage of time work completed promised, the number of the parts of the out of stock. The key use of the control charts is defining the appropriate quality measures to monitor the most of the service can be improved through the appropriate application of the charts. The process capability, the control limits identify variations exist between the samples and subgroups of measurement. They do not individual units, and in other words, the control limits are derived from the actual process performance and are designed to show whether the process in statistical control or not. The specification limits are usually derived from the customer requirements. These limits are placed on the product of the characteristics. Designer and engineers ensure the adequate functioning of the product. Generally, there are two types of specification limits: low specification and upper specification limit. These limits are quantify the requirements of the customer. If the products fall in the range of upper control limit and lower control limit, then the meeting of the customers expectation. If the products of not fall in the range of the upper specification limit, lower specification limit, then the product is said to be the not satisfying our customer need. The specification is specs or tolerances of the product. Then the control limits and specification limit. In that control limits, these are all the following or the control limits. The voice of the process calculated from the data appear on the control charts, apply the sample of subgroups, guide the process of the actions, what the process is doing. Specification limit, voice of the customer defined by the customers, appear on the histogram and apply to the item and separate the good items for bad when we want the process to do. The control limits and specification limits are the two different measurements as the quality control analysis. The one might have much control over the customer specification, but he can work change the control, have to work hard and shift change control according to the specification provided by him by this customer. Capability of control. What is that capability? The capability is a process is in control and out of control independently to each other. That is called the capability. Capability is a capable or not capable, in control or out of control. That is obviously would like every process to be the both of the capable and in control. If the process is neither capable or nor in control, we must first get in state of control by removing by special causes of variations and then attack the common causes to improve its capability. If the process of capable but not in control, we should ask to get it in back control. There is the natural tolerances limits are known as the process capability limit. Sigma is the process standard deviations u plus 3 sigma, u minus 3 sigma. There is a upper control plus 3 sigma and lower control u plus 3 u minus 3 sigma. The process capability analysis. The process capability analysis is estimate the process capability. It involves the process means the process standard deviation, relatively the frequency distributions and the quality characteristics. The specification limits are known. The process capability analysis also the estimate the proportion of the non-conformity of the product. The presence process capability is analysis. The variable data can be performed only when the following critical conditions. The process is in statistical, the distribution of the process is considered in normal. After the process capability, the analysis will be classified as either capable or incapable. The process of not producing or the conforming the product, the process is said to be incapable. The process capability compares the output in control of the process to the specification limit by using the capability indices, and in other words, the process capability measures the output of the process compared to the customer specification limits, or can be considered comparing the voice of the process and voice of the customer. Definition: the process capability may be defined the minimum spread of the specific measurement variations will include 99.7% the measurement from the given process. To find out whether the process is inherently capable of meeting the specific tolerance limit, to identify the capable failing to meet the specification. The process capability, this is the process index indicates the process potential, the performance of relating the natural spread of specification spread, often the production, the design phase and pilot production phase. Then the process capability control charts and attributes. Need for the control charts and attributes. The variable charts of X bar and R is a powerful tool for the diagnose the quality problems and certain limitation. The limitation of X bar and R is cannot be used quality characteristics and the attributes. For example, the quality characters is such as a correct color, blowholes and cracks are not measurable. The variable control chart is not applicable. X bar and R charts can be used only on one measurable characteristics in at a time. For example, automatic turning may be 50 dimensions. Therefore, the 50 X bar and R bars will be required. Attribute. An attribute is the characteristics of the common specification do not conform the specification. The two types of attributes are attributes where the measurement are not possible. For example, visually suspected items such as color, missing parts and scratches and damages. The attributes where measurements can be made but are not because of economy of time and cost or need in the common practice. The instead of using the measuring instruments such as micrometer, vernier caliper and we use go and no go case. The trial, the non-conformity and non-conforming items. An item is said to be the non-conforming item is a defective if it fails to conform the specification in any characteristics. Each characteristic that does not meet the specification is the non-conformity or defect. And non-conformity defines a quality of characteristics. Since an item may have many quality characteristics, it may be how many, and non-conformity and non-conforming refers the entire items. Thus, non-conforming items may have many non-conformities. The example: if the casting contains the undesirable hot spots, blowholes, and the casting non-conforming items, is defective. The odd spots and blowholes, etc., are non-conformities defectives. The control charts and attributes row charts is the P chart is the friction fraction of rejective as a non-conforming specification. NP charts and the number of the non-conforming items. C charts is control the number of the non-conformities. U chart is control the non-conformities per unit. The P chart is the quality of the characteristics is the proportion and non-conforming defective units. The percent of defective 100 is 100 P is that the 100 items of the fraction is defective. For the actual calculation, the control limit fraction defective is used, however the charting is a bit defective. The purpose of P chart to identify the correct causes and bad quality, discover and identify the correct heuristic causes of quality improvement, discover the average portions and defective articles submitted for the inspections over the period of time. NP charts is generally the NP charts are quite same whenever the subgroup size is variable, and the P chart is used. The subgroup size is variable or the constant, and C chart. In the C chart, there is a number of defects of the samples are plateaued over the time. The C chart applies to number of defects in the subgroup constant size. In P charts and NP charts control the fraction of defective in the product, whereas the C chart is controls the number of defects in the products. In other words, control charts and defects is called as a C chart. The situations in the C charts can be used or a number of the typographical and on the printed page, a number of the defective rivets on the automobile body, number of the rust spots in the sheets, number of the defective and block holes on the undercuts. Then the Six Sigma process. The Six Sigma is the deviation from mean. The Greek letter used as the standard deviation. Six Sigma is similar to zero defect, and philosophical benchmark and standard excellence proposed by the Philip Crosby. The Six Sigma is a methodology of provide the techniques of the tools to improve the capability of reduce the defect in any process. The Six Sigma was started in Motorola in 1987 in its manufacturing divisions, and General Electric and embraced in 1995 of its products PPM. The Six Sigma strives perfection allows only 3.4 per million opportunities, and here the defect can be anything from the faulty party and incorrect and customer bill. The Six Sigma improve the process of performance to decrease the variations and maintenance and consistency of the quality of the process output. This leads to defects of the reductions and improvements and the profits of the product and quality of the customer satisfaction. Six Sigma incorporates the basic principles of techniques used in the basics of the statistics in engineering. The objective of the Six Sigma is the principles of defective products. The definitions: the Six Sigma is defined as the GE as the vision of quality in which equates with only 3.4 defects per million opportunity for each product service the transaction and perfection. The Six Sigma is a systematic method of process the product improvement for measuring the variations. It is also the metric evaluating the standard excellence. And when do we need a Six Sigma? The Six Sigma is nothing but the control limits plus or minus 3 sigma limit and plus or minus 6 sigma limit. The chance of part going outside of the control limits from the plus or minus 3 sigma limit is 27 parts in 10,000 and plus or minus 6 sigma is 3.4 parts per million, and this means that the probability of the parts are produced going outside of the controller in a limit much higher in the plus or minus 3 sigma limit systems than the plus or minus 6 sigma limit systems. We know that there are the sigma quality of the natural variability, equal tolerance and limit lower specific upper specification limit minus lower specification limit. It means in the normal distributions curves only the 0.27 percentage output would be expected to fall the outside of the specification limits. The real meaning of the 3 sigma concept: medium aircraft consists of 10,000 different parts at 3 sigma quality, and 27 of those parts in an ample assembled the aircraft would be defective. One cannot be afford to fail 27 parts in a million, and the 3 sigma level. Similarly, they are the another instant like landing systems of aircraft, failures in the strategy, the testing of nuclear plant. So 3 sigma quality control cannot be accepted as a good enough quality level. Therefore, we have to increase the 6 sigma level, reducing the number of defectives. The 6 sigma level also the significant of the aircraft keys. That's why the 6 sigma is preferred than the 3 sigma and 4 sigma quality levels. That the 6 sigma process is described by the DMEIC. D is the define, M is the measure, E is the analysis, I is improve, C is control. DMIAC is similar to that PDCA, that is plan, do, check, act. The tool is used. Define is first to identify the project champion and the project owner, then determine the customer requirement, define the problems of objectives, goals and benefits, define the stakeholders and resource analysis, map the process, develop the project plan, define the quality tools, project charter and plan effort and impact analysis, the process mapping, tree diagram, measure activities, determine the projects of the critical X and Y's, determine the operational definitions, establish the performance standards, develop the data collections and sampling plan, measurement system analysis, determine the process capability of the baseline, the quality function department, the measurement system analysis, check sheet and process capability analysis, benchmark process of the product, establish the causal relationship using the data, analysis the process map, determine the root cause using the data, analysis the quality tools, and statistical analysis of the data, cause and effect diagram, histogram, paratogram, run chart, scatter graph, and improve the activities and develop the solution alternatives, assess the risk and benefit of the solutions alternatives, validate the solutions of using the pilot and implement of solutions, determine the solutions of effectiveness using data, improve the data, and design of experiment, brainstorming, FMEA, and risk assessment. Control, determine the needed control, measurement, design, etc. Implement the validate control, develop the transfer plan, realize the benefits of implementing the solutions, close the projects and communicate the results, and statistical process control. One of the control action plan, design changes, eliminate the defect, then define, determine the benchmark and set the baseline and determine the basic we recommend and get the customer commitment and map process flow, measure development of the defect measurement and develop the data collection process, collect the data and create the forms and compile the display data, analyze, verify the data, draw the conclusion from the data, test the conclusion, determine the improvement opportunity, determine the root causes, map the causes to effects, improve. We create the improvement ideas, create the models, experiment, set the goals, create the problem statement, create the solution statement, implement improvement methods, control, the monitor improvement process and measure the improvement statistically, assess the effectiveness and make the need for the adjustment. Six Sigma organization is the process of successful involvement participation. All other employees of the top management of organizations are crucial. The Quality Council, Apex Council, sponsor and champion, the market black belt and black belt, green belt and the team members. The Quality Council it is the apex of the body from the by its at the uh, functions with its chairman as the CEO, chief executive officers and the manager. The Apex Council's control periodically reviews the entire Six Sigma activity, including the project identification, the performance of the project teams, and the effectiveness of the solutions and their implementation. The sponsors is the project and reviews the monitors its progress one day to day the basis of the ensure the implementation and improvements of suggestions. The champions is the senior executives which signifies overall the business responsibility. He provides the visions and business decisions and the leadership for the Six Sigma activities. He may not be part of any specific project, but he available the expert the help. The Master Black Belt is an expert the Six Sigma techniques and application. He plays the key role in training and coaching the black belts. His responsibility include the participating the project reviews and monitoring all the Six Sigma projects. The black belts are the process of improvement team leader who is trained and certified in the Six Sigma methodology and tools. He is the responsible and successful for the execution. The green belt is similar to the black belt, but they do not have the full-time role. They are the project heads and the process owner execute the project Sigma as the part of their normal job. Team members is a fresher initiated by the Six Sigma process and they focus day to day the assist the green belt. The master belt and black belt and green belt or the nomenclature of give to the people. The master belt should have completed the block belt clarification and monitor the 15 or project completions. Black belt is from have completed the black belt certifications and monitor the 4 projects or to successful completions. The advantages of Sigma improve the customer satisfaction. They ensure the product services and customer requirements, improve the quality, efficiency, and the product sold, the reduction of waste and defects, the variations of reduction, the financial saving through the cost of the reductions and cost of the avoidance and creations of the self-sustaining infrastructures and well-defined rules and responsibilities, empowering all the employees, better performance improvement, improve the communications and standardization, commonize the language of training materials and tools and software, standardized methodology, and creating the common commodity and expectations and solutions and financial tracking of the process. Then the quality circles. The quality circle is the quality control circle. Is a small voluntary group of employees, supervisors, and comprising the team of 6 to 10 members, the same work area doing the similar work in the regular to solve the problems and job scope of the workforce. In other words, the quality circle is a small group of the people who meet together on the regular basis to identify and analyze to solve the quality of the cost of the productions, any other problems in the work area to improvement the total performance, the enrichment of the work life. The quality control is possible management of the systems in which the workers make suggestions to improvement for a betterment of the company. Other names of the quality circles, the actions of the circle, excellence the circles, human resources of the circles, and productivity of the circles. The history of the quality circle. The quality circle is the first established in Japan in 1962. Professor Koru Ishikawa has been credited with their creations. The movement of quality circle is Japan was coordinated by the Japanese Indian scientists, engineers, and the use of the quality circle is then spread behind the Japan. The quality circles have been implemented even the educational India and is promoting such activities. Concepts of the quality circle is the concept of the quality circle is primarily based upon the recognition of value of worker of the human being, someone who willingly activities of the job is on his job is wisdom of intelligence and experience, attitude and feeling. The quality circles respect the human dignity and motivates the employees' root and brain power along the physical effort. The quality circle is the participation of management. Quality circle is the human resource management technique. Human quality circle is the problem solving technique. The objectives of quality circle is to promote the environment, to create the problem solving capability, to improve the communication, to promote the leadership qualities, and to produce personal development and to develop the greater awareness for cleanness, to develop the greater awareness for safety, to improve the moral through the closure identity and of the employees' objectives with organization objectives, to reduce the errors, to enhance the quality, and to inspire the more effective teamwork, and to build an attitude of the problems of preventions, and to promote the cost reductions, to develop the harmonious managers and supervisors of the work relationship, to improve the productivity, to reduce the downtime and machine equipments, to increase the employee notifications, characters of the quality circles, and the optimum employees in any quality circles may be the 615. The quality circle should be the homogeneous group of the participation, and member of must be from within the same department of the work area. The participation of the quality circle members would be voluntary. The no compulsion of the pressure is to be bought on the employees on the join and not join to the quality circles. The members of the quality circle should meet regularly once in a week for an hour after the working hour. During the working hours, to discuss the problems related to that and find a solution. The member of the quality circles themselves identify the problems through the various techniques such as brainstorming and cause and effect diagram and Pareto analysis diagram and histogram. The quality circle address the two types of the problems: those concerned with personal well-being of the workers, the working conditions, the safety, work relations, housekeeping, etc. Those concerned with the well-being, company, and productivity related problems, and the members of the quality should be trained statistical and other problem solving tools so that they can identify and analyze resolve the work related problems. The training and quality control activities must be carried out by the company time. The financial recommendations of the quality must be acceptable to the management before they are made effective. The structures of the quality control that the top management and the coordinator, steering committee, facilitator and leader, members and non-members. The top management do not directly the part of the formal quality of the circle structure. The top level management influences successful implementations in the concept. The quality councils collect the information about the programs reports in the managers director. The top management has to convey the policy of the quality to its employees and encourage them from the quality circles. It should be extended for the more importantly to make it visible so that even the workers the lowest level know that the top management is doing for them. It should be the lenient enough of financially support the quality circles projects. The coordinator, the senior management is the coordinator. He arranged steering the committee of meeting is responsible for the proper documentations and varied activities. He organized the training programs whenever is needed. Then overall responsible for the conducting seminars and presentation in the case of the case studies and periodical certain quality control is recognized. The steering committee is a group of the members are working under the chairmanships, and the number of the steering committee is possible for the proper implementation of the quality circle in the respective area. They make the facilitators and under them accountable them. The CEO reviews the reports and number of activities and suggestions. The facilitators, the senior persons in the specific area acts as the facilitator. He bears the responsibility of the catalyst and motivate the quality circles. He acts the guide of the mentor for effective operations of the quality circles. Further, he also functioning the quality circles in this area of steering committee of meetings, leader for the deputy leader. The members of circles choose the leader with the due to the care, consciousness as the leadership shapes and circle effectiveness, training in the individual. The good leader should have the ability to motivate the members of the team and conduct the meeting and coordinate the efforts apart from the involving all the members in the quality policy and should be strive avoid the conflicts, ensure the quality oriented teamwork. The members of the circle should not be forced to join the quality of the circles. Instead of they should be join their own interests. The need of understanding the functioning of the quality circles. They should be encourage the employees participate in movement seriously in themselves and quality improvement programs implement solutions and presentations effectively. The non-members are important because the support circles a number of externally and also they realize the benefit of the forming circles. They will be willingly participate in the activities. Hence, the non-members are often considered the prospective members. Thank you.